feel like almost every patient that I work with or comes into our center, or I have worked with in the past, will at some point be tempted to move to a vegetarian or vegan diet. And I would say that it's definitely rooted in the eating disorder. Also in the recovery process, there are many, many people who recover and during the process before they're totally well want to adopt a vegan diet. The patients that I work with are people who tend to be more aware or more influenced by what they see on social media, and I think there's a perception of veganism that is like very, very influential to the types of patients that we work with who are very susceptible to seeing that kind of messaging. If the vegan diet is done properly and done well, it can be a totally normal diet, but most people who are following a vegan diet aren't doing it properly and aren't doing it well. When I think of a vegan ad, what comes up in my head is like the front of a magazine where it's like 5 tips to be a leaner, meaner you, and it's like vegan diet, and then I picture this person in like a crop top running is like what I see in my head, and that's very much, I think, the image that's portrayed from a vegan diet at this point. I don't think it actually often comes back to like ethics or morals around animals or the environment. I think it often comes back to this way to be thin. Huge movement towards orthorexia, and that's this term that, I mean, it's been around for a while, definitely a long time, but this is what you're seeing. I actually think orthorexia is expanding, and like more and more and more people could fall into that category, and that's just disordered eating patterns linked with like really, really healthy lifestyle. So there's this obsession with health, and that in and of itself becomes very, very restrictive. So veganism happens to just be one of those types of diets that is by nature restrictive. Like there's a lot of foods that are off the table when you're vegan. And so I think any kind of fad diet that restricts a certain type of food is what is perpetuating orthorexia. I think the only type of vegan ad that I'd ever be okay with would be like one that's talking about the environment or talking about animals. Like I think if there's ever anything that's not that, I don't really know why it's being included because I don't know that that's where veganism is meant to stem from. And so you often don't see, well, you don't see advertisements about animals and the environment very often at all. And that has always, for the true vegan who's always been like that, like 20 years ago before veganism wasn't cool, veganism was never being marketed. Like it was a choice based on personal value systems. And so those ads I'd be okay with, but there's just not very many of them.